Welcome to the CPG Webcast, the service of CPG Matters and the Shopper Technology Institute. I'm your host, John Karolefski. Thank you for joining us. Today we're talking about digital sampling. This promotion is increasing its share of the overall sampling business and benefiting brands and retailers. However, there is a negative activity associated with digital sampling that is rarely discussed. But joining me today to discuss that very topic and provide other insights is Larry Burns, president of Start Sampling, an online promotional marketing services company focused exclusively on product sampling. So Larry, before we get to the negative activity, why don't you briefly explain digital sampling, also known as e-sampling or online sampling?
Happy to, John, and thanks for having me. Digital sampling, sometimes called sample request sampling, starts with strategically placed media, whether it be a banner, an ad, banner ad, a button, a sponsorship, whatever makes sense, on the website of a retailer, a brand, a publisher of some sort. What's happening is it's a call to action where the consumer needs to actively engage with the brand and request the product sample, raise their hand and say, I'd like it. In a practical sense, such a request indicates an actual interest in that sample. After all, consumers do need to provide their name and address, making them travel partway along that mythical path to purchase. So they're more likely to convert to a purchase of the product after the sample arrives if their experience lives up to the expectations set in the offer that originally prompted their action. And that's not Larry's opinion. We've got a whole lot of research to back up that statement.
Okay, well that brings us to today's topic, the Freebie Hound. Why should marketers even know that term, and what exactly is it?
I wish we didn't know the term, but as a digital pioneer, kind of starting this company I teased about last century, I would define a Freebie Hound as a person who truly believes that they are entitled to any offer for a pre-product that is made available online, regardless of whether or not they are legitimately entitled to it. And ever since we began back in '99, we have faced the challenge of new brand or agency customers who are ignorant kind of this reality of the online sampling world, where a program can become inundated with this heavy, short-term, and in some ways potentially undesirable traffic. So there's this interesting subculture of folks who spend a fair amount of time searching for product samples online. This particular subculture gets a lot of excitement and social media juice, if you will, out of posting about the offers that they find. And in fact, there's even a halo being very special amongst these hardcore enthusiasts if you find it first.
Yes, Larry, but these people must be online a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely they are. Their postings can be found on every social network and literally tens of thousands of small hobbyist sites, as well as a few kind of well-known boards or sites where people cater to this subculture. So the reality is if a brand or agency is unfamiliar with this Freebie Hound phenomena, they may make available an unprotected program offering a relatively small number of samples only to find that they disappear kind of in no time at all. Their initial reaction might be excitement about how fast it moved, but that could turn into disappointment if the bulk of that small-scale volume of samples were consumed by so-called Freebie Hounds and not their desired target customers.
Aren't they just a tiny segment of the overall online customer base, though?
Oh, yeah, they definitely are. Today, there are tens of millions of consumers who are quite willing to engage with brands in a fair value exchange, providing information in order to receive a chance to try something new. And based on our work, we do know samples can and do move with astounding speed to legitimate samplers interested in samples of products we help customers get into the market. And what we've kind of learned is that we as marketers in today's world kind of must ride out the immediate storms that may surround our promotional activities online. There's a great quote which is, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction and a social media overreaction. So there's interesting things always going on out there. So the vast majority of people are actually really rational and particularly in this economy very appreciative of brand efforts to offer them a chance to try a sample of a product. One just needs to be aware of the potential from a very small and unfortunately quite vocal portion of the population for whining about something. But if you have faith your true customers and product advocates will eventually, in effect, shout them down over time.
Okay, well, speaking more specifically now, is there anything the industry can do proactively to prevent or slow down these so-called freebie hounds?
Yeah, I'm actually very glad that that's a question, because over the course of time, our company has literally acquired the knowledge to create a master list that I'd really enjoy offering as a do not send them samples list if only privacy protections and legality would allow me to do so. We can't. But the reality is, and we need to be real clear about this, that the entire list of folks that we might classify as abusers over millions and millions and millions of sample interactions over the past 15 years, it would be a very small segment of the American population, maybe even only 100,000 households.
Okay, well, a do not send them samples list, whether it's legal or not, that's rather extreme, wouldn't you say?
Part of me says yes, but no, it's really not. Because what's happening is that these unusual people, today they still wield far too much power in the minds of too many brand owners and agency personnel. Because of the unique nature of the online medium, this tiny minority of people really seems like a far greater reason to hesitate to do things in the online space than they actually are. So, however, the reality is today that kind of happily and slowly but surely, brands are overcoming these unwarranted fears as they run successful programs and realize the value of best practice approaches to online sampling, coupled with an increasing recognition of the high value of the data that comes from such interactions. They're getting more comfortable. And the other reality is that Start Sampling, we have tools that can mitigate the impact of this vocal minority, returning very solid control to brands. We're fully equipped to discuss the various ways freebie hounds can be addressed. Sometimes you want them for various reasons. But those of us with experience in best practice processes really have no fear providing brands access to people we seek to target while severely limiting the impact of anyone else, i.e. a freebie hound, who seeks to order their samples.
Well, that's something that we all can get behind. Thanks, Larry. If you'd like to obtain an official transcript of this webcast, click on the link on the homepage of shoppertech.org or cpgmatters.com. Meanwhile, for more information about Start Sampling, be sure to visit them on the web at www.startsamplinginc.com. To connect with Larry Burns more directly, you can call him, follow him on Twitter, and read his blog. Information for all three is on the screen. Until the next time, this is John Karolefski for the CPG Webcast.